Hello history lovers, and welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into a story of glamour, power and betrayal that culminates in one of history's most infamous events. We're talking about the wedding that allegedly turned a queen mother into a ruthless killer, Catherine de Medici and the Saint Bartholomew's Day massacre. So picture this, it's August 1572, Paris is buzzing, the streets are draped in lavish tapestries, wine flows freely, and the city is packed with the crème de la crème of French nobility. The occasion? A wedding meant to heal a kingdom torn apart by decades of religious warfare. The bride is Marguerite of Valois, the Catholic daughter of the powerful Queen Mother, Catherine de Medici. The groom is Henry of Navarre, the charismatic leader of the Protestant Huguenots. A Catholic princess marrying a Protestant king? What could possibly go wrong? This marriage was Catherine's masterstroke, a political maneuver designed to end the bloody French wars of religion. For years, Catholics and Huguenots had been at each other's throats. Catherine, a shrewd political operator, saw this union as the ultimate peace treaty. By uniting her daughter with the Protestant leader, she hoped to create a new era of tolerance and stability in France. The wedding itself was a spectacular affair. But beneath the surface of celebration, tensions were simmering. The hardcore Catholics in Paris were horrified. They saw this marriage as a sacrilege, a betrayal of their faith. The presence of thousands of armed Huguenot nobles in their city felt like an invasion. The air was thick with suspicion. Enter Admiral Gaspard de Coligny. He was the most influential Huguenot leader, a respected military commander, and a close advisor to Catherine's son, King Charles Martel. But Coligny was a problem for Catherine. He was pushing the young king to invade the Spanish Netherlands, a move that would drag France into a disastrous war with the mighty Catholic power of Spain. Catherine had worked tirelessly to maintain a delicate balance of power in Europe, and Coligny threatened to shatter it all. She saw her influence over her son slipping away to this charismatic Protestant admiral. Just 4 days after the wedding, on August 22nd, as Admiral Coligny was walking back to his lodgings, a shot rang out from an upstairs window. An assassin! Coligny was hit, but he survived the attack. The Huguenots were enraged. They stormed the palace, demanding justice from King Charles. They accused their sworn enemies, the powerful and ultra-Catholic Guise family, of orchestrating the attack. Suddenly, the festive atmosphere of Paris turned deadly serious. The Huguenots threatened to take matters into their own hands if the king didn't act. This is where the story takes its darkest turn. According to popular history, Catherine de Medici, fearing a Huguenot uprising and seeing her plan for peace crumble, made a fateful decision. Panicked that the Huguenots would seek revenge and that the entire plot would be traced back to the royal court, she allegedly convinced her fragile and impressionable son, King Charles Martel, that there was only one solution: a preemptive strike. They had to eliminate the Huguenot leaders before the Huguenots eliminated them. In a secret council meeting late at night, a terrified King Charles is said to have finally snapped, screaming, kill them all, so that none will be left to blame me." The royal guard was given a list of names. The plan was to assassinate Coligny and a few dozen other key Huguenot leaders. It was meant to be a swift, surgical strike to decapitate the Protestant leadership. But the plan spun horribly, tragically out of control. On the eve of Saint Bartholomew's Day, August 24th, the church bells of Saint-Germain-l'Auxerrois tolled the prearranged signal. The Duke of Guise himself led the charge to Coligny's house. They finished the job the assassin had started, killing the admiral and throwing his body from the window into the courtyard below. But the violence didn't stop there. The targeted assassinations ignited a firestorm of popular fury. The Catholic citizens of Paris, whipped into a frenzy by extremist preachers, and their own deep-seated hatred took the king's signal as a license to kill. What followed was a horrifying bloodbath. For 3 days, mobs roamed the streets of Paris, hunting down and slaughtering anyone suspected of being a Huguenot. Men, women, and children were dragged from their homes and butchered. The River Seine turned red with blood as thousands of bodies were thrown into its waters. The violence wasn't confined to Paris. It spread like wildfire to a dozen other cities across France over the next few weeks. Estimates of the total death toll range from 5,000 to as high as 30,000 people. It was a national trauma that would scar France for generations. The groom, Henry of Navarre, only survived by pretending to convert to Catholicism. So was Catherine de Medici really the murderous serpent queen of legend? Was she the cold, calculating mastermind behind this horrific massacre? The truth is, it's complicated. Historians are still divided. Some argue that Catherine was indeed the prime mover, a ruthless pragmatist willing to do anything to protect her family, its power, and the stability of the throne. They point to her Italian heritage and Machiavellian reputation as proof of her capacity for such a brutal act. However, other historians offer a more nuanced view. They suggest that Catherine was more of a reactor than an instigator. In this version of events, she was caught in a rapidly escalating crisis. The failed assassination attempt on Coligny, which she may or may not have known about, backed her into a corner. Faced with the threat of a Huguenot civil war in the heart of Paris, she and the royal council made a desperate, panicked decision to carry out a limited strike against the leadership. They never intended for it to spiral into a city-wide massacre. The spontaneous eruption of mob violence took them completely by surprise. In this light, Catherine is less of a monster and more of a politician who lost control of a volatile situation. Regardless of her exact role, the Saint Bartholomew's Day massacre forever tarnished Catherine de Medici's name. The wedding that was meant to be her greatest triumph, the symbol of peace and reconciliation, became the prelude to one of the most brutal atrocities in European history. It shattered any hope of religious tolerance for decades and ensured that Catherine would be remembered not as a peacemaker, but as the Black Queen, her hands forever stained with the blood of her subjects. What do you think? Was Catherine a cold-blooded killer or a victim of circumstance? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into the dark side of royal history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another episode. See you next time.